Here's some ideas you never heard before. Some business secret weapons that we have in store. It's Laura Hodgson, NowCorp CEO, with some action ideas to help your company grow.
Hi, I'm Laura Hodgson. Welcome to the Secret Weapon Podcast, where we explore secret weapons for success for small businesses. I'm here today with Stephanie Sokenis, the founder and CEO of Small Biz Ally. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to start out by just hitting it right in the face. What is a secret weapon that you have seen used either yourself or with all the small businesses you work with that predetermine a business's greater chance for success?
Well, I think one of the most important things I've ever seen with a small business, with any of the people I've spoken to, is to get yourself out from being engulfed in your business and reach out to other people to get some feedback on what you're doing. Sometimes you get so engulfed in the startup and the passion and what's driving you in your business that you miss the obvious.
Right. It's, my mother used to always tell me that sometimes I was so smart I had no common sense. And I think what she meant was that, right? We start our business and we are so excited to get that vision going that we miss maybe some of the most simple and probably boring steps that are critical to our business lasting for the long term. What are some of the things you've seen that people miss?
I think one of the primary things I've seen is people going out and spending thousands of dollars on getting a business card printed or a brochure printed with this great business name that they think is fantastic because they came up with it when they woke up one morning and never thought to go to the Secretary of State's website to make sure that business isn't already licensed.
Oh.
Tough thing to do. There's a certain order to do things in, and there's checklists out there, and we provide checklists as well for a reason.
Right.
Do them in the right order, because what's going to happen is all of those things that you're doing are going to have to be done again, and that's wasted money.
Right. Well, and chances are when you come up with that great idea and you rush off to start your business, you don't know to go to the Secretary of State's website or where do I go to even do that. But I think what small businesses have to do is sort of give themselves permission to not know all those things. So the example I've seen of people, sort of overlooking the obvious in their zest to get their business going is around small business credit. Because a lot of people start their business and they take that personal Amex and they run out and they buy those business cards or they buy those flyers. And then a year into the business, when they're ready to start really growing, they have established no small business credit score. And it's not that their business hasn't been operating, it's that they've used their personal credit card instead of getting a small business credit card. And so then they have to stop. It literally stops their business in the tracks. And so when you think about some of those boring things like register with the Secretary of State, get a small business credit score, if that's not my passion, which I've yet to see a small business owner start a business because they have a passion for finance and accounting. I guess unless you start a finance company, then I hope you have a passion for finance. But so where do I go to find these checklists? I mean, is that part of why you started Small Biz Ally?
It is because people tend to always are magnets for the fun stuff. I want to do the fun stuff. I want my logo to be great. I want to pick a great name. I want my colors to be jumping out at me. And that's not really the most important start. Those are the things that will come, but nobody wants to get caught up in the minutia. Right. There are what I call necessary evils in starting a business. And those necessary evils are going to prevent you from having all kinds of pitfalls later. And those pitfalls are very costly. So yes, we help people through a startup. If they're looking just to get started, I don't care if they came from a background that doesn't match with what they're doing. Whatever their business is, we'll sit down with them and we'll walk them through the right structure of their business, the right steps to get that business off the ground. Do they need to be an LLC? Do they need to be an S-Corp? What paperwork needs to be done? In what order? What are your startup costs going to be? Do you have that money? Can you live without making money for the first year? We go through all of those things with people so that they do things in the proper order. Right. And yes, the logo's on that list. It is, but just not until down the road a little bit.
So you mentioned some of those kind of common sense things that get missed when you start. Are there also common sense things that people miss after they've gotten started and they're starting to grow? Or is this just a one-time problem? Is this something I have to keep revisiting as I grow my business?
It's a constant problem. It's people still generally tend to, we see money coming in, they don't know how to manage it. Do they get an accountant? You know, I'll always tell people that Their finances are the most important thing, and legal is also important. And I don't even care if you're a home-based business. There are things and precautions you need to take. I had somebody, if I can give an example, I had someone come to me the other day, and they were a home-based business, and they were ready to start, and they had their logo, and they never licensed their business because they felt they were at home and didn't have to do that. And I kind of opened their eyes to the fact that just because you have a home-based business doesn't mean that you're exempt from all these things. You need to have insurance. Do you have
Right.
a client's material in your house? What happens if your roof caves in and it gets wet and damaged and you lose all this printing? Also turned out that they were a tenant in the house. Well, has your landlord okay you operating a business out of the home? There are so many things you really have to pay attention to. So no, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's ongoing,
Well, an exercise that I did for myself when I started my business, and this could be a good suggestion, is sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And you sort of think you know a little bit of a lot of things, but I'm a to-do list person. I love to-do lists. In fact, if I do a task in the middle of the week and it wasn't on the list, I write it on there just for the pleasure of marking it off. But what I started to do was look at my to-do list every Friday. And the things that were still on there were the things that I either don't have confidence in doing or I don't like, to your point of doing the fun stuff. So it might be a good exercise as you're starting your business to check which things you don't really like to do that you put off all the time. And those are probably the things that they need to call you for help with, because those are the things that just naturally you're going to shy away from doing. Right. And if you can identify what those are, if they are finance related, or if they are more administrative related, or if they're legal related, et cetera, then those are the things that you could immediately go to someone like Small Biz Ally and say, this is not my forte. Can you help me with that?
Right. Exactly. That's what we tell people as well. It's along the lines of do what you're good at doing and outsource the rest. I mean, really, if you're a photographer, only you can do that. But do you need to be fulfilling orders? Do you need to be making phone calls and invoicing and billing and everything that you need, everything else that can be done by someone else? Focus on what you're good at and help yourself build that business in the area that you're good at and fulfill the orders, as opposed to working on all the minutia. There's other people that can do that, and though you think you're paying for that service, it's actually it's helping you go out and earn that probably 3-4 times what you're going to be paying someone else to do for it.
That is such amazing advice. So at the end of the day, what Stephanie is saying is stay in your lane, because if you try to get out of your lane in an effort to save money or not have to pay someone else to do it, you may end up actually killing your core business because you're trying to do things that you're not great at. So our takeaway from the Secret Weapon podcast today is stay in your lane and use common sense. The things that you don't like to do or you don't know how to do, get help. The little bit of money that you're going to pay for help will go a long, long way at helping your business be profitable for the long term. And it will allow you to do the things that you do find fun and that you are good at. And so with that, thank you, Stephanie, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to seeing you on the next Secret Weapon podcast.
Thank you for joining us today. For more Secret Weapons podcasts, please join us at nowcorp.com.